What are realistic expectations for this Oregon team in 2026? That's the question today. Welcome into another episode of Off Script. My name is Zak Herbstreit. Ladies and gentlemen, college football fans, we are less than 50 days away from college football being back. So do not forget to subscribe to the channel now, like the video. It really helps me out a lot, so appreciate you guys. And we're going to have a ton of Oregon videos all throughout the season, so you do not want to miss those. So subscribe now. I appreciate you guys. But let's get into the video today. Oregon, right now, coming into the season with probably one of the most talented roster in the Big Ten, if not the entire country. They have a team that's loaded on both offensive and the defensive side of the ball. And starting with the offense, obviously, Dante Moore comes back, should be in the NFL, coming back for another year at college, expecting a great year out of him. Decorium Moore, Evan Stewart, McClain outside of the receivers, Davison and Hill at running back, Jamari Johnson at tight end. The offensive line, that's a little bit of a question mark. And then on the defensive side of the ball, probably the best defensive line in the entire country. Linebacker core has probably been the best since Dan Lanning's been there. And then the secondary is just a freak show all across the board. I almost basically named every single position group there. So Oregon fans, you have a lot to look forward to. But they have the depth to go far in the playoffs. And I think most importantly, they have the hunger to win. Hunger to prove that they belong with the top dogs of college football, with Ohio State, with Georgia, these championship caliber teams. Because the last two college football playoffs against Ohio State, against Indiana, that was not their game. Getting blown out in the Rose Bowl, getting blown out in the Peach Bowl, that is not what this Oregon team shows out in the field consistently. Throughout the regular season, we watch this Oregon team, you're like, wow, that's a championship caliber team. So that begs the question, what are realistic expectations for Oregon this upcoming season? I feel like you're going to have a lot of people out there that are going to say championship or bust. And I feel like that phrase just gets thrown out a lot, especially when your team's not championship caliber. It's like, well, championship or bust. Championship or bust. It's like, all right, pal, I get it. Like, you can think that, but in this case with Oregon, I feel like the roster they have, at least on paper, you're not wrong to say championship or bust. And internally, this program believes they're championship or bust, just like any other top-tier program in the country believes they should win the national championship this upcoming year. But my thing here, with two new coordinators coming in, little question marks surrounding the offensive line, and then the question of Dan Lanning, hey, can he win the big game? Can he win the college football playoff games? Can he do it? Is it a fair expectation for this Oregon team this upcoming year? Because the last team to win a national championship with two brand new coordinators was Georgia back in 2021 with Todd Monken as the offense coordinator, Dan Lanning as the defense coordinator. So it's not like it's not been done before, but it's been a while. It's been 5 or so years since this has happened. So it's not possible, but those were also pretty established names, you know? Dan Lanning, Todd Monken, pretty, top of the game kind of guys. So that's the question there. Are these coordinators going to live up to the hype? Can they get the ball rolling against, like, what's the coordinator battle going to look like when Oregon goes into Columbus and Maringer has to go against Matt Patricia? That's my question. How's that going to look? When he's deep into the playoff and go against Kirby Smart, how's that going to look? Lanning versus Kirby Smart, that's a matchup I'm looking forward to. But moving on as well, the offensive line. Now, I'm definitely a little bit more optimistic on the offensive line than most because I understand you watch the spring game. Spring game doesn't mean as much as a lot of people think, but when you watch the spring game, they got cooked. And granted, like I said, spring game shouldn't really matter too much, but a lot of faces that haven't really played before. Now, granted, they're veteran guys, seniors, juniors, senior guys that are going to be playing, been in the program a while, know the standard of Oregon football, but it's just going to take September, October, November to just gel together. And I don't know, do you have time to maybe have a little slip-up game early on? Because it's a gauntlet in the Big Ten right now. That's a hard schedule for Oregon. They got to go to Ohio State, play Michigan. It's not easy. So that's the question as well. And then the last thing I want to talk about here is Dan Lanning. We all know he's a great coach. That's not a secret. And he's proven he's a great coach. Had 2 back-to-back incredible seasons. But when you get to the playoff, can you get over the hump? That's the question. Can you get over the hump? Can you finally just not have a complete breakdown when you get there? Because I know the fans want to see it. The fans just want a tight game. I know they obviously want to win, but dang, like the game being over in the first quarter, you're like, really? All this expectations, all this hype for what? But with this loaded roster, with these new coaches, does the narrative around Oregon change this year? That's what I'm interested in. Can they kind of flip the roles a little bit? Can they live up to the hype? That's what I want to see out of Oregon this year. So back to my main question. What is the realistic expectation for Oregon this upcoming year? Playoffs for sure. And deep run into the playoffs, semis, making it to the semis, winning the semis, making it to the championship game. You have the roster to do it. You have the coach to do it. Dan Lanning's hungry for it. He wants to win a championship more than anyone. So I think making it to the championship, I wouldn't say winning it yet because I'm not too confident. I can't just say like they're going to win the championship yet, and I got to do a little more research. I haven't made my pick yet, but I think this team is capable of making it to that game. They have the depth. They have the talent. It's just, can they put it all together? Can they get it going? I want to see it out of Oregon this year. But Oregon fans, I'd love to hear from you. What are your realistic expectations for Oregon this upcoming year? Are they good? Are they bad? Is there disappointment? Is there joy? Leave a comment below. I'll be reading all of them. But like I said, my name's Zak Herbstreit. This is Off Script. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'll see you guys soon.